Hey guys, it's Alex back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Apple's new Silicone Macs that they just announced. That almost sounded like I said Macs, but I meant to say Macs, like not M-A-X, M-A-C-S, though the new Silicone Macs with the M1 chip. So they came out with the MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro 13-inch, and the Mac Mini. But before that, I want to remind you guys to please subscribe and hit that notification bell down below so you will get notified every time I post a new video. So you guys will get your notifications. Sometimes I've heard that the notifications don't work, but it will work. Trust me, if you press that notification button when you subscribe and like the video also while you're at it. So let's get into the video now. So disclaimer, this is not going to be like a specs video. This is just going to be my honest thoughts and opinions on the new Silicone Macs. Now, we're going to start off with talking about the Mac Mini. Now, I actually think these new Silicone Macs are pretty impressive, and it makes me wonder, what's this new MacBook Pro 16-inch going to be like? Because that'll be the MacBook for me, the 16-inch, when that comes out. That would definitely be the one for me. Personally, I have a 13-inch right now. It's from 2017, so it's got a touch bar, but it's actually getting really slow. It's got an Intel i7. Now, I also have an iMac, which isn't bad. It's right behind me, actually, but that's not bad. That's actually pretty much faster than the MacBook. I edit on an iMac, but I want to replace both with a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and I gotta wait till the Silicone 16-inch MacBook Pro comes out. But besides that, let's talk more about this Mac Mini. So, we haven't seen a Mac Mini since 2018 now. With this new Silicone chip, it's pretty impressive, actually, some of the speeds. Some YouTubers did, like, some speed, well, not YouTubers, but some speed tests are coming out, and they're comparing it to, like, a Mac Pro, or, like, older MacBook Pros or MacBook Airs, and the MacBook Air is already beating the old MacBook Pro. And what's really interesting is that a MacBook Air is beating a MacBook Pro, and they did a fanless design, so there's no fans in the MacBook Air. Now, that's really interesting to me, because how is heat, like, can you do, like, some basic video editing on that new MacBook Air? That's what I want to know. Anyone actually have a MacBook Air and they video edit on it? Please tell me down in the description, or down in the comments below if you guys do, because I'm actually curious, like, how does that handle while video editing, just with no fan? That's really interesting to me, because something just doesn't necessarily add up there, if you know what I mean. Like, how would you possibly edit with a fanless computer design? So that's one of my main questions on the MacBook Air. Now, the price of the MacBook Air is actually really good. It starts at like $999, and with like student discounts, you'll get like a pretty substantial discount. I think it was like $800 with like a student discount or something, and that's great. I think I'm actually eligible to get a student discount, so that's great, but I don't want that computer at all. But if you're eligible for a student discount, definitely look into some of these new deals with Apple with their student discounts. Like, definitely, because you'll get a good deal, is what I'm saying. Now, obviously the MacBook Air is fanless, and so for the MacBook Pro, you can get a spec'd out MacBook Air for about the same price of a MacBook Pro. Now, what doesn't make sense is with the lineup with the Pro. Are they trying to kill off the Pro 13-inch and sort of make it the Air, or are they trying to kill off the Air? That's what, like, I'm trying to figure out. Or are they just going to keep both and make this Air, like, the cheaper model? That's what I'm trying to figure. I think that's probably what they're going to do, what I said before, make it a cheaper model. But it just doesn't make sense to me. They seem very similar. Now, Apple did not shrink the bezels of either one, so you're not going to be getting that same treatment that the 16-inch MacBook Pro got from the 15-inch with the smaller bezels. Not the same treatment there. You're not going to be getting. Now, as I said, that doesn't make any sense, because their whole lineup just, it's just a whole mess. We're gonna leave that mess besides right now. So let's talk more about the Pro. Now, the Pro did not get the same treatment as the 16-inch, as I said, which, I mean, yeah, it does kind of suck, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and so there's no 14-inch. It's just the 13-inch still, but you got that new M1 chip and the new hardware. New hardware is definitely better than new design. Well, the design's fine. I'm sure next year maybe, or the year within the next couple years, we'll see a new design, I'd say, to the MacBooks. Now, I'm thinking we'll see the new iMacs soon, but I don't know how soon. Maybe like a March event or WWDC. Now, the Mac Mini, personally, is really interesting with that M1 chip, which is what they're calling the chip for these three. I'm assuming, like, the Mac Pro will get, like, an M1X. That thing will be so much money. Now, what was interesting is Apple actually sustained the same prices this year. They were actually able to obtain the same prices with the new MacBooks and Mac Mini. And that's really interesting. They were able to keep the price as low as it is, which is really good. And that's good. So for people who are more in the market for MacBooks, they didn't change the price. So the old MacBooks will actually drop in price. So if you want to pick up an old one on eBay or Amazon or something, I'm sure you could pick up a good deal. Like I saw on Amazon UK or Amazon Canada, I think it was Amazon Canada, they already had the new M1 MacBook Air discounted for like $7.99 or $8.99, which this is not on a student discount. So that was really interesting to me that they already had discounts on a computer that just came out on Amazon Canada. Now, Amazon US, I'm not sure if they did or not, but for you US people, it's a bummer. You can't get your discount unless, you know. But that's pretty much what I was saying about the Air. So now we'll get in more about the Mac Mini. Now, the Mac Mini comes in silver. Now, the Mac Mini hasn't been updated since 2018, so this is really cool to see. I mean, at least it's not an iMac Pro that hasn't been updated since 2017. Like, that's just ridiculous. You know, Apple, you gotta update that. I'm sure we'll be seeing that later on next year or so. Maybe like an M1X chip or something in that. But this all is going to be really interesting. Apple Silicon, I think Apple Silicon has some real potential. Just seeing these speeds, it's beating the Intel Macs. Now, the i9 is a really good processor in general. Like, it has the Macs have the latest processor, the latest 9th generation processors, but they're really good. They're really good also. But seeing these M1 chips just outperforming Intel Macs is just insane. I definitely see a lot of potential in the whole Apple Silicon. I definitely see a whole lot of potential in this. Like, we should be getting like some new redesigned iMacs in about a year or so. So this all should be really interesting. Now, that has been it for this recap. Like always, please subscribe. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.